like I said earlier in the show, there are 2 things that made this hard. The first thing being the position that Brodrick Martin plays. He plays nose tackle. It's not a glamorous position. It's just not. And so because it's not a glamorous position, you're not going to get these like, you know, these sexy highlights of him dismantling, offensive linemen and getting a sack or any of those things. And then the second thing being he played at a smaller school. So again, not on national TV a lot, not a lot of people knowing who he is and doing these elaborate breakdowns of his skill set. But with all of that in focus, still had to do an evaluation of Brodrick Martin. So again, this is a ceiling that might some of you might disagree with. You might say is way too high. But this is who I think Brodrick Martin could be if he's again the best nose tackle he could possibly be for him, the best nose tackle that he could personally be. I think you would be getting a DJ Reader type of defensive tackle. DJ Reader out of Cincinnati, who again, he's playing nose tackle. So it's this idea that he's going to be this groundbreaking defensive tackle, I don't think is necessarily in the cards for Brodrick Martin. That's why so many of us or so many of you guys are talking about like, hey, maybe we just go all in for Quentin Williams. Because I think could Brodrick Martin be a serviceable starter? Sure. He has the skill sets to be a really good nose tackle. He's 6'5", over 300 pounds. When you see him on tape, you put if you're trying to move him with one guy, it's not happening, right? He does very well at holding the point of attack and doing his job from that standpoint of plugging the middle and not allowing people to just move him out of his gap. He does that very well as far as again utilizing his size and his weight that well. He has great gap integrity. So again, you're not going to see him over pursuing or trying to do something that's not his job. He understands what he's called to do. He understands that he's a nose tackle that's caused to plug up lanes. So you don't have to wonder where Brodrick Martin's going to be. Wherever he's lined up, that gap closed. All right, closed. Um, and because of that, if he's that much of a handful on one-on-one situations, eventually what teams are going to have to do is they're going to have to double him. And if they have to start doubling him to move him out of the way so that they can open up gaps, well, that's only going to open up more opportunities for Aleem, for your edge rushers, for your linebackers to play off of him and to be able to get the tackle for losses that you're going to need to shut down the run. And these are things that DJ Reader does really well. Again, DJ Reader is never going to like you don't hear about DJ Reader until the playoffs come, right? Because at that point in time, it's all about him doing like all these all the dirty work that's required to start to stifle offenses. And that's what Brodrick Martin will probably be if he's able to reach his ceiling where he's a guy that you can rotate in on first and second down, shut down the run, third and inches, fourth and inches type of situation, that like, hey, he can be a clog in the middle. One other good quality of his, so again, while he's not, again, you kind of know where he's going to be. He has really good gap integrity. He will chase down runs though. Like he doesn't give up on plays just because it's away from him. He'll continue to track down a play and at least make an attempt to try to get to the ball carrier. Again, large man. Don't expect him to get there, but at least you see that effort. He's not somebody that just gives up on a play because like, oh, okay, it's past me, cool. I'm just gonna chill here. He actually does put in the effort um to really kind of anchor down a defense. Steve O saying if Martin can anchor against double teams, the pick will be a success, in my opinion. As of now, high pay level causes him to get pushed around. Exactly. And everybody kind of saying the same thing, right? Like, hey, take up double teams. I don't think Brodrick Martin is a guy that we're going to be looking at and like looking at the stat sheet and being like, so did he get this many tackles for loss or did he get a sack? Like, if he gets those things, awesome. I just don't think it's something that we could really expect from him, especially in his first year. Um, Mark LeBay saying, I've watched Martin pancaking two linemen in one play, a bit of a fluke, but impressive and funny. And that's the thing. So again, that's his ceiling, right? If he can do that, he'll be able to eat up double teams and he'll be able to like really, be a force in the run game. The problem that I have is that like what Mark is saying, where he's able to like take do two offensive linemen and kind of pancake them and like move them out the way. That is something I wish I saw more. in Brodric Martin's tape. If he was able to be more impactful in that situation, then I think this would be a home run, like a home run pick. If we were able to turn on tape and be like, dude, he's just at 6'5", 330 or whatever he is, and he's just tossing dudes out the club, we would all be excited about what he is or what he could be. But because I don't see that enough, Brodrick Martin for me, like if he if he doesn't really like pop off, his floor is just another rotational defensive tackle. And I know that's a ceiling, it's supposed to say floor. If if he doesn't like really pop off in the NFL, he'll still be just be like he'll be a dude that you bring in to spell Isaiah Buggs. Whenever Isaiah Buggs needs a blow, you'll send in Brodrick Martin. He'll go in there and he'll kind of just be that guy. I don't think there's a lot of like I said, I don't think there's a lot of hope that he'll be more than that because as a nose tackle, like he has the things that most nose tackle has. He doesn't have great quickness off the line. Um, you're not expected to put him in on pass rush situations. That's just not what he's going to be asked to do. And the reason that I think he would just fall into a rotational guy is like Brodrick Martin doesn't have incredible strength. Like he needs to get stronger. That was the number one thing that I said when they drafted him is like, hey, great pick. He's got to get stronger. He's got to be able to not just take on double teams because he can take them on and probably not get moved a lot. He needs to be able to destroy them. He needs to be able to fire off the ball and make people say, oh, bleep, like every time he comes off the line because he's just going to eat up space and he's going to be a force that other offensive linemen just don't want to take, want to deal with. Um, Prairie Ball saying, can his pad level be fixed with coaching? Absolutely. This is where, though, again, I'm sure it's going to be coached, right? Like if he has bad pad level, it's going to be harped upon. The question is, how well does he take coaching? Is he going to take that coaching well and be able to take what is being said and translate that into production on the field? If he can do that, Brodrick Martin will be great, and he'll do everything that you want him to do as a nose tackle. And he'll be everything this team needs him to be as far as when it comes to defending the run. And who knows? Because of his size, and if he's able to be effective, he might push Isaiah Buggs out of that starting spot to where it's him and Aleem, and you at least would feel really comfortable about that tandem in the middle, where it's like, yo, there's two really good run stuffers in the middle, and Aleem being the quicker of the two. Where if Broderick is eating up blockers, Aleem gets way more one-on-one situations where he can probably start to exploit those and showcase his tenacity as a three tech.